It started with a hole in the wall and ended with 10 fugitives running across a New Orleans highway in the dead of night. One of them wrote, "Too easy, LOL," as they disappeared into the city. This wasn't a movie. This wasn't a game. This was one of the most dangerous jailbreaks in modern American history. As of this morning, 8 are back in custody, but 2 are still out there.
Massive manhunt after a stunning jailbreak in New Orleans. 10 inmates escaping, some charged with murder, all considered armed and dangerous.
12:23 a.m. You can see them right there yanking on these doors, pulling them off the tracks, says the sheriff.
And authorities tonight investigating whether this was an inside job.
On Friday, May 16th, 10 prisoners escaped through a hole behind a sink inside Orleans Parish Jail. They ran across the highway, vanishing into the night. These were not petty criminals. These were men with violent pasts. Corey Boyd, just 19 years old, awaiting trial for second-degree murder, attempted murder, and for threatening a law enforcement officer. Kenan Dennis, 24, charged with armed robbery with a firearm. Jermaine Donald, 42, carrying the weight of a second-degree murder charge. Derek Groves, 27, convicted for a gruesome Mardi Gras Day shooting in 2018. 2 counts of second-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted murder. Also facing new charges for battery against a correctional officer. Antoine Massey, 32, domestic violence, strangulation, car theft. Robert Moody, 21, behind bars for aggravated second-degree battery and more. Kendall Miles, 20, charged with attempted second-degree murder. Gary Price, 21, attempted first-degree murder, domestic abuse, assault with a weapon, criminal damage. Leo Tate, 31, serving time for burglary and possession of a firearm by a felon. Lenton Van Buren, 26, locked up for illegal weapons, obstruction of justice, and introducing contraband into prison. The escape triggered a massive manhunt involving local, state, and federal agencies, including the FBI and U.S. Marshals. Authorities discovered the escape during a routine headcount at 8:30 a.m., nearly 7 hours after the inmates had fled. Within days, law enforcement recaptured several escapees, often with the help of public tips and surveillance footage. Kendall Miles, caught after going live on Instagram, saying, "I'm fresh out." The 20-year-old was the first to be taken back into custody after escaping from Orleans Parish Jail. But this wasn't his first escape. Back in 2022, Miles broke out of the Bridge City Center for Youth. He had been indicted on attempted murder, carjacking, after allegedly shooting a man, then stealing his car. Officials say he was apprehended in the French Quarter after a brief foot chase. Robert Moody didn't make it far. Just hours after Kendall Miles was caught, Moody was back in custody. He was captured at 7:32 p.m. in the 3500 block of 2nd Street. Thanks to a Crime Stoppers tip, the 21-year-old was booked on weapons and drug charges. Police found him in Central City, wearing fresh Bape and Nike gear, a fugitive in designer streetwear. Another name crossed off the list, but the manhunt was far from over. Kenan Dennis was the third to fall. Like Miles and Moody, he didn't make it far. Dennis was captured the same day he escaped from Orleans Parish Jail. The 24-year-old was arrested near Chef Menta Highway and Dale Street, a fast end to a short-lived run. He was booked on multiple charges: illegal weapons possession, extortion, kidnapping, armed robbery, and theft. Gary Price was the 4th escapee to be captured. Police found him asleep on a bench. The 21-year-old was arrested on Monday, May 19th, after reportedly hiding out in a vacant home on Good Drive. His record was heavy: attempted first-degree murder, assault, domestic abuse, criminal damage, and battery with a weapon. State police confirmed. Price will be transferred to a secure facility outside the area. Corey Boyd was the 5th escapee to be captured. Police found the 19-year-old inside a residence in the 1400 block of Iberville Street on Tuesday, May 20th. Boyd wasn't just a runaway. He was facing charges of second-degree murder, attempted murder, obstruction of justice, and threatening a law enforcement officer. He was one of 3 suspects linked to the killing of a man who had caught them robbing cars. On Monday, after a high-speed chase in Huntsville, Texas, police arrested Leo Tate and Jermaine Donald. Jermaine Donald was already facing second-degree murder charges. Leo Tate was previously convicted of obstruction of justice in a 2018 shooting that left a 19-year-old dead and a 16-year-old wounded. Now they're facing fresh charges, including aggravated escape and escape from custody. Same Memorial Day, another fugitive was off the streets. Linton Van Buren was arrested in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, less than 24 hours after a manhunt intensified. Surveillance had recently caught Van Buren on the streets of New Orleans with Derek Groves and Antoine Massey, just a week before his capture. On May 26th, police found the 27-year-old sitting on a bench outside a Jimmy Jazz shoe store. Van Buren had a violent history. He was arrested in 2021 after a deadly shooting and later booked on armed robbery charges at Orleans Parish Jail. He pleaded not guilty in 2022. Now his escape added new charges, and his family members face charges too for allegedly aiding his flight. As of May 29th, 2025, 2 fugitives remain at large. Derek Groves, 28, convicted of second-degree murder, has vanished without a trace. He was last seen in New Orleans with fellow escapees, just days before the group scattered. Antoine Massey, charged with domestic abuse by strangulation and car theft, is now believed to be the mastermind behind the jailbreak. Authorities say he coordinated the escape from the inside, and now he's taunting the system from the outside. In a bizarre twist, Massey has taken to Instagram.
It's Antoine Massey. I'm asking for help. I was one of the ones that was let out Orleans Parish Jail on May the 16th or May the 15th, 2025. So please, Meek Mills, Donald Trump, Lil Wayne, please help me.
Pleading with Meek Mill, NBA youngboy Lil Wayne, and even Donald Trump for help. He claimed he didn't escape, but was let out. Massey also said his father was best friends with Lil Wayne's late father, Rabbit. A strange detail in an already unbelievable case. This wasn't just a breakout. It was an inside job. Investigators uncovered that the escapees had help from within the jail itself. Sterling Williams, a jail employee, was arrested for turning off the water in the inmate's cell, giving them the opportunity to dig out unnoticed. He was charged with principal to escape and malfeasance in office. But the conspiracy didn't stop at the prison walls. A web of friends and family members aided the escapees, forming a network of accomplices. Courtney Harris allegedly helped by providing transportation and communication. Corvante Baptiste was charged for helping Corey Boyd get food while on the run. Jermaine Donald's grandmother, Connie Whedon, was arrested for wiring him cash through a digital wallet. Linton Van Buren Sr. was accused of helping his son escape. His bond set at $1 million. Tashania Randolph and Angel McKay were also arrested for harboring Van Buren in the days after the jailbreak. The escape wasn't just bold, it was coordinated. This isn't over. The city remains on edge, and until these two are captured, the manhunt continues.